And it's time for part 2 of this session. This is the last 90 minutes. If you want to see what happened before, of course you can go on our channel and find the first 90 minutes right before this one.
Yeah, you guys should be very happy. This is longer than Phone Booth, so which is like a 28-minute movie.
A surprisingly good 28-minute movie, though. I will say that.
Meanwhile, Batiste, whose favorite movie is Phone Booth, raises with 9s.
Yeah, that's why we said it.
Terminator made an ambitious limp with the Ace 3.
And just donates $10 to Batiste.
Here you go.
Children.
You want $10? Looks like you need a wardrobe upgrade, Batiste.
Batiste, if your kids are planning on ever going to college, put this money away. It'll blossom into 16 by the time they're of age.
Why did you say that with such sass?
No.
That's me. I'm full of sass. Also, if you didn't see last week's episode, we are now on a time clock. Every player gets 30 seconds for each decision. If they do not act within that 30 seconds, you see they have those time cards. They each get 4 of them to start the session anyway. I think most of them still have all 4 of them. And those cards will be deducted from them at the end of the hand. If they are out of cards, their hand will be killed at the end of whatever period.
Hold on a sec. Hold on a sec, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Mason raced under the gun, and Terminator decided to 3-bet to a size that will never get a fold with 10 deuce suited.
Hey, it looks like Joseph is calling with 8-4 suited.
What is happening, Joseph?
All hell is breaking loose on Poker Time. That's what is happening. Mason's like, well,
I'm a little disappointed in Joseph. I'm
a little disappointed in everyone.
not Mason.
Honestly.
Not Mason as much. It's a little bit of a loose open under the gun.
You're right, but comparatively.
Yeah.
And Terminator actually flops best. And I assume he's going to fire and win this a lot. This is a good board to fire on for Terminator. He checks, though.
Joseph might
2 back
take
doors.
A shot. Joseph could have king queen suited or something like that.
Sure, he could have ace king suited too, and just have not 4-bet, or just ace king period. And not
set of
4-bet.
5s, set of deuces.
Sure.
Not usually 8-4 suited.
Mason has to fold. What will Terminator do?
I think he's gonna fold.
Wow.
I don't think you're trying to reel anybody in right there.
Well, kind of. See what I'm at least.
Okay, I call.
You're only calling them ahead. You're
I
raising,
had a
I have
pair.
to think about it.
I had a pair.
9s?
No.
8s? You're not folding jacks.
That's all I can tell you is I had a pair.
I didn't have a pair.
I know,
My best
I know, but I
chance to
still
win
can't.
that
I still
was
can't
probably
call.
just a bet.
I was out of position. I can't call out of position right there and just keep freaking handing you money, and then you hit the river.
I was going to shut it
And then
down.
you hit the river.
Raise 45.
If you call once, I'm probably shutting it down.
Fold. Fold.
Joseph continues to get the best of Terminator in this session.
And tell the truth, by the way,
Yeah.
throughout, as he always seems to.
Now?
Terminator kind of owned himself a little bit. He threw it to a size too small and then check folded the best hand on a
the way,
board that was good for him to fire on.
and decided to 3-bet the 10 deuce suited
Yes.
+1 when under the gun open.
That's right. By the way, Joseph, conversely, calls with the 8-4 suited on the button, but at least one check to fires away. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
he gives himself a chance to win. I still don't think it's a profitable
I
play
still
long
think
term.
Mason played the hand the best.
We have one every night at 7 o'clock.
Here's Travis.
$40.
Where's that hat? Like
Like it's nobody's business.
yeah.
Because it's not your business.
I mean, you can be curious about it. It's okay.
There's
A
Batiste.
lot of people wearing hats.
We should maybe have a no hat rule.
I am actually kind of down for the no hat rule. I don't like you can't see everyone's face. I think we should have a no hat rule. Let's start a no hat rule.
Coming to a poker time near you in about 3 months.
Not even like 3 weeks.
7 weeks.
Like 3 weeks from now,
6.5.
we will start the no hat rule.
Bigger?
Well,
They're going to play 25-50.
well no, no, not bigger than this. Just bigger than 1, 2.
The room is, I don't know how many tables are going.
It's hard to get anything over 1-2 during the week.
No, I mean, I know.
I'm down to hard to get
after the stream. No, I mean, so on the next break.
Beanies are okay, though. Like, look at Batiste. You can
Beanie's
see
fine.
There's no brimmed hats.
You got to be able to see your face, otherwise you can't be on the YouTubes.
But if we reduce it to
No
5-5,
front
we
brimmed
get
hats.
rid
You
of
can wear a
quarters.
backwards hat.
Interesting. How about
I don't
side?
mind.
Or you can wear, yeah, side's fine. Or you can wear a cowboy hat except for the front part isn't there. The
Yeah.
brim.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
It's like
a
scooped out.
cowboy hat mullet.
Exactly.
Scooped out cowboy hat. That's kind of a thing anyway, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Mason calls Oh, it's because it wasn't raised by Joseph.
Yeah.
I assumed it had been raised when I saw his
He's
hand.
just gonna try to take advantage of the button, I guess.
Sure, that's reasonable.
Let's do 25-50.
He actually has 2 guys dominated and does flop best.
There you go.
He should get a little bit of action from Travis. Not that anybody loves the flop.
20.
Getting a real good look at that side of the table. There's Joseph betting with
One back door.
one back door. But it's a good back door.
Everybody calls somehow.
Terminator has a 6. so-
Yep.
And that's
Joseph.
another way to do it if you're Joseph, I guess.
Who needs the back door? I'm coming in the front, says Joseph. Of course, now his hand is too good to bet.
Don't feel like Mason can bet here.
No. He could bet, I guess, as a bluff, but it's hard 4 ways. And Joseph just has... There it is. You can see the ace plays. Just one card out of all those cards play, and it's Joseph's ace of diamonds.
Do you think he can bet for value here?
I think he can. He can try and get called by a queen, but he could also check to try and let spades bluff or the straight draw bluff. 4-5, of course, does get there on the river.
Riveting stuff.
You have 8? Pocket 8s?
No, ace.
Oh, ace. I thought you said
I
8s.
thought somebody was checking the 4-5 maybe, but I'll just announce it so you guys don't have to show.
That was nice of you.
That was just...
Pot. If a bigger pot, I said, let's
Yeah.
You're trying to get the same courtesy down the line.
No, they always like to show. But I'm always happy to show.
Joseph's playing hands weird
Yeah.
so far. The 8-4 and the ace-2 is
a good way to
both
look
not standard.
We got to get our sound guy to place that
We're all gonna
microphone
see
better
him
on
eventually.
Joseph. I like hearing what he has to say.
You show, you're first, all that stuff. We get more hands this way.
Turn him up in the future, maybe. Here's a real hand for Luca. Ace-Jack of
Again,
spades
huh,
is the
Luca?
best version of
Cool.
ace-jack suited.
Raise
Is it plan
It's obvious. And I think it's kind of insulting to the audience that you felt like you had to say it.
It's okay to say the obvious sometimes. Like we say someone folds. It's not insulting to the audience to say that.
I feel like it is every time, and I think we should stop.
Just milking me 30, 25 bucks at a time, huh?
Grab tee up for me if you see her. Can you grab tee up for me?
Batiste has the same hand that Joseph had last time, and he
Well.
flops big time with his hand.
Luca's going to bet, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if Batiste decides just to raise it right now. He might decide to call because of the king-high nature of the board and the under-the-gun nature of Luca's open. It is going to be just a call.
It's going to be tough to get paid if a diamond
Oh,
comes.
it's going to be a raise. Excuse
Oh,
me.
he did raise. Okay.
I prefer a raise.
Me too.
Let's
Good.
just get it in. Also, you can get Luca to fold a hand like a king pretty easily if you put enough pressure on him, right?
Yeah, not this
Easy
bet,
game.
but future
No.
bets.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he might hold on, but he's going to have to fold sometimes too, and you're going to get there a lot.
And Batiste shows the deuce of diamonds out of spite or something.
Out of anger. Beanie anger.
Beanie anger?
Yeah.
Is it squeezing his head and it makes him affects his mood?
The beanie itself is controlling him and is angry.
Oh,
Beanie anger.
now I understand.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, really?
Glad you asked.
I'm not.
Tourneys or cash?
Fold.
I see Isan has that beautiful Poker Guys shirt and hat that he made. You can't really read the hat. He made that and it inspired us, and we made a bunch of it.
Yeah.
So
I guess we'll include the link in the
Yeah.
description for the if you want some Poker Guys merch, you want hoodies or t-shirts or anything like that, hats, we got it all. You can check it out. It's actually surprisingly nice.
oh yeah,
Here's a
softer than a baby's bottom.
Batiste with the limp call with the ace high. Both guys probably think they have the best hand a lot. Nowadays, Luca does have the best hand. Checks it back.
That's a tricky little check.
Yep.
I mean, I left 2 days after the.
If Batiste bets is simply protection, right? He's not going to try to fold out a better hand ever.
No, and that's what's going on, I think. He just wants to fold out the jack tens of the world here. Luca has the easiest call.
And pretty much has to call any river card. Doesn't matter what the river card is. If Batiste bets again, I think Luca's forced to call.
I think you're probably right. I think Batiste's probably not going to bet with an ace high here, though.
He might think he has the worst ace high, though. If he puts Luca on a slight... Luca's going to go for value here, of course.
Really hard to come up with a hand that you can beat as Batiste.
A checked back diamond draw seems
I don't know
unlikely.
why I hate the river so much.
Spring court, but state Spring court.
That's
That's
cool.
on Jim. So,
Have you ever done that before?
I have had plenty of arguments, never at Spring court though. So it'll be a first for me.
Yeah, it's gonna be ace.
So that's the same week as the $500 event.
Some weird float on the turn. These are
Yeah.
the only things you can beat as Batiste.
Batiste thinks Luca hit the 9.
Yeah, it's reasonable. But it would be like ace-9, right?
Yeah.
I guess 10-9 of diamonds a little bit, but usually that's going to bet the flop.
I think Batiste could have taken a shot on the river there. I know it wouldn't have worked, but the way Luca played the hand looked like a bigger ace high, and those are the types of hands that are going to have to fold to a river bet quite often.
That's a fair point.
It is, though,
I think you're right.
Rarely actually comes down to actual voting because most judges retire mid-session or mid-term, and so they're appointed then.
If you're asleep, we're sorry. Dan's a lawyer. He's talking about lawyer stuff.
Cool. You'll see Dan's got all his time cards, but Mason on his direct left does not. He was bluffed off of queens pre-flop by Isan's 9-10 suited and used a few of those time cards in that hand.
That was a strange 4-bet, but it really worked out well for Isan.
Yep. By the way, Travis just opened the 7-deuce suited. There is no 7-deuce game on, and Joseph just calls with the jacks. These hands are not what one would expect based on the pre-flop action.
It's backwards land.
Yes, it is. Well, I mean, you wouldn't really expect anyone to call with 7-deuce, but I feel you. Okay. It's a good flop
Well,
for
maybe
Joseph.
Travis will save some money by hitting the 7 and
Right.
feeling like he has enough showdown value to check back, but I guess not.
40.
I think he's betting for protection here. Will Joseph raise now?
I
Or
like a
later.
raise. I think it won't work out the way he wants
Yeah.
to, but I would like a raise here. Travis has plenty of kings in his range.
Sure.
I'm often not at home.
As it stands, Travis has not a very good hand against a raise here, but there are some draws out there. There's gut shots, and then there's queen 10 for an open ender.
I mean, Travis has backdoor spades if he really wants to talk himself into a call, I guess. But he's got bottom pair, bottom kicker. And he looks like he is going to talk himself into a call.
Travis hasn't had much to play with, and I think he might be getting
Yeah.
frustrated.
Well, he better pray for a spade on the turn that is not a spade.
That card might help him be more able to fold.
Because queen 10 got there?
Yeah.
But Joseph makes a nice check, giving Travis a chance to bluff. Travis doesn't.
Joseph's probably a little bit worried about queen 10 himself.
Oh, I thought Travis checked there. I guess he didn't. He's just shuffling his chips, and he is going to bluff.
This is a bluff. He's trying to get Joseph off of like a king 9 type hand.
King,
which
queen.
You wouldn't expect Joseph to check raise. I think there was a
Joseph's-
fly there. I don't think that was any sort of weird gesture. I think there was like a fly.
Hey, man. So is Joseph going to call, or is he going to raise? Maybe he's only going to call because queen 10 does come in. He wants to see how much
A
trouble.
little bit worried about pocket aces as well.
Sure, but ace king could be in there,
Yep.
and you would want to try and get value from that. It's a weird spot. Looks like Joseph's going to call. That's reasonable.
The question for Joseph is what to do on the river. I guess it depends on the card a little
Yeah,
bit.
assuming a brick.
It is a club, which is not great, and also brings in 9-10 if somehow Travis was playing 9-10 this way.
And he double gutted on the flop. It's not impossible. for him to have
Definitely not.
9-10. But I think 9-10 is more likely than clubs.
Yeah, you're right.
Joseph's going to bet because he wants to make sure he gets value from like ace kings and things like that. Maybe ace queens.
Travis can't really call here, right?
No.
He can raise, but he can't call.
It seems impossible to call based on the way this hand played out. What in the world do you want Joseph to have here? I can't think of a hand that he can have that he can check call the turn with.
Joseph might just throw up all over the table if Travis pulls the trigger on a raise here.
I think he's going to throw up and fold.
Yeah.
Right?
This is a very small bet by Joseph, by the way. And
He's
it
blocking.
doesn't really work out the way he wanted it to. I don't know if Travis would have bet had Joseph checked. I'm not sure. Joseph's lucky to have gotten the amount of value he did out of 7 deuce there.
Yeah. I mean, Joseph is trying to get value out of the big aces like ace jack, ace king that are going to feel obligated to call that bet but are going to check back that river, right?
Yeah.
That's what he's really trying to do, which I like.
I think a little bit of a bigger bet might be better in that case. He bet 160 into like 700.
Mm-hmm. Trying to make it easier for them to call, even though the board got a little scary.
I
The
mean,
board didn't get that scary.
If it's ace king, it's going to call
Yeah.
400 anyway.
It is. You're right. Ace jack probably also.
Yeah.
Fold. Fold.
But Travis had kind of the opposite side of the deck from that.
Yes, he did.
Raise 35.
Luke is thinking because he's got a better hand than Batiste.
These guys have a lot of history.
Or just for the hell of it.
That's awesome. Wait, did you guys go to Lambert? Or not?
Luke is interesting in that he's the kind of guy who can change gears pretty hardcore. Go from playing like a maniac with huge bluffs to playing much more studiously and like chill and like patiently. So can give people a little bit of fits sometimes.
Really warm.
Fine for just learning.
But it was perfect.
And Batiste doesn't let their history get in the way of making the right fold there.
I was honestly honestly. And
Yeah, that's a pretty easy fold.
I was killing off wires. Because I'm like running up and back.
But Batiste does feel, he's expressed that Luca's been picking on him a little bit in this session. We've seen spots where Luca opens under the gun a lot. It just happens that Luca has hands under the gun, but it feels like he's attacking Batiste big blind. And we know Batiste has a little bit of a fragile ego.
Yeah, I started scoring.
I said you didn't fold the worst hand, but I meant you didn't fold the best hand.
But he didn't let it get to him there.
Maybe you didn't even hear.
Made the right fold.
I thought you were checking back there too much.
Mason with something real.
Raise 35.
Oh, look like we got a clash here. This is a lot better than the 10 deuce that Terminator 3-bet with last time Mason opened under the gun.
Yep.
Raise.
And he 3-bet a little bit bigger this time, still not very big. And Travis has lost his mind.
Wow.
Travis is going bananas. Now Batiste is in a weird spot because if it gets 4-bet, he can't do anything about it, but he can call and set mine against the field.
Yep, he sure can. I mean, how often is Mason really 4-betting? Honestly, if Batiste calls, it's probably going to up Mason's chances of 4-betting with ace-king. He probably doesn't want to see a flop 4 ways or more with ace-king out of position of the whole field.
Batiste is
Did he
4-betting.
4-bet it?
He's turning the deuces into the 4-bet. That is interesting.
Whoa.
It looks crazy strong.
The cold 4-bet from after under the gun and +1 both raise is insanely
And then
strong.
there's a call, by the way.
I don't
Travis
see.
flats.
I think Mason is folding, and I guess Terminator's going to call. Is my guess.
That would be my guess. As
Mason
well.
really should not call here. I think Ace King is doing very poorly against Batiste's range, and when you combine that with Terminator's range, it's like you're praying for a chop, or you're praying they both have queens. I mean, there's not much to pray for here. Batiste does not do this normally. And there's, I guess he had more than one time card left, but
Mason uses a time. This is a good time to use a time card.
Absolutely.
Think this thing through.
I think this is a fold, though, if you're Mason, until you have more data on these guys. See them really losing their mind a lot. Of course, you could also just go all in and put the burden on them. You are blocking aces and kings, and everything else is tough to call with.
Yeah, but it's a big financial loss if you just run into the big one. And Batiste could have
And he does
aces
throw it
or
away.
kings pretty easily.
Yep. He does
And
throw away. Terminator
makes-
is going to call.
And now Travis is like, what have I done?
I've set a little bit of money into the furnace, is what I've
set
done.
it into the furnace.
Yep.
Gently.
Yeah, carefully, but it's still going to...
Eventually burn when the furnace turns on.
Well, yeah,
It's
whatever
on
that,
auto.
whatever that
I don't
is.
know how to turn it off auto.
So
Oh, and-
Batiste.
Batiste flops the open ender, and Travis would have flopped the flush draw.
Boy, if a diamond comes in, it'll be fun to watch Travis's face. This is a pretty good board for Batiste to bet. If he makes his open ender or makes a set, it's going to be really hard to get action from hands that don't have an ace in them. He checks it back, though.
Interesting.
9 of diamonds, Travis would have made the flush, and it went check, check. Oh, he's got to be burning inside.
Terminator can't love that card. He does like the Batiste check back on the flop.
Yeah, I think Terminators have to be too afraid of that card, in that Batiste rarely has like the ace-king of diamonds or something, because he almost is always betting that flop.
Yep.
Ace-queen of diamonds, anything like that.
And it goes check, check
Wow,
again.
that's
Batiste
really
must
surprising.
be putting Terminator on ace-king.
And there's a set. Wow. Travis would have gotten all the monies against Terminator.
Oh, it goes check, check, all streets.
That's crazy. Well, Mason's going to be happy, I guess, when he sees how this played out. I'm not sure if Terminator would have folded or not. I think he would have.
Yes, I think he would have.
I thought you had kings, but obviously I changed my mind and didn't have that. Why'd you hit a set there?
No, I had ace king also.
There's Travis with his head hung low.
Yep. Having a moment of sadness.
You pulled a jacks.
It's like I put in $85 and didn't get to see a flop. Had I seen that flop, I would have gotten to the turn.
Maybe gotten $1,000 out of it.
Maybe would have stacked Terminator. I don't know when Terminator makes a set on the river. I don't know.
Probably shouldn't stack him, but maybe.
My hand kind of face up. When I
Pretty good flop for
my
mine.
What's that?
Pretty good flop for my hand.
Call.
Oh,
Fold.
one of those?
Too good to bet?
One of those? 560?
Tiny call. Fold. Fold.
No.
Wow.
Fold.
Terminator just limping under the gun with the 9-10. He just wants to play right now, it seems
Yep.
like.
He's probably feeling a little emboldened after winning with queens. Isan just flats the button, or really calls the button, I should say, with king jack. That's a surprise.
And Dan's going to try to protect the eights here a little bit.
Yeah, see if he can at least knock a few people out.
wish I hadn't flopped that well.
I guess Mason's already out.
Call.
But I don't think he's going to get rid of anybody else. Maybe Joseph will fold. Yep.
Yep.
Okay. That was a little bit of value there. So he's got to dodge 4 overs. I assume.
Isan cannot fold.
Yeah.
3 players.
Well, that's a good flop for the old
Terminator.
the one who terminates. Isan's got a gut shot.
Dan's got the flush draw along with a pair, but he's out of position to 2 players. It's not great. Terminator should bet.
135.
There we go.
135.
I don't think Isan can continue here.
That's 67.5% of the pot. I don't see how Isan can continue either, even with the overs in the gutter. One less heart, he could decide to call.
Fold.
This is a pretty straightforward call for Dan.
Very uncomfortable, though.
He's beating some of Terminator's range for sure. Of course, sometimes he's drawing nearly dead.
Check.
Sometimes I guess he's just straight drawing dead now. Sometimes. Expect Terminator to bet again.
The lawyer here is going to have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the heart's going to come in, Jonathan.
Nice job with the Mike Sexton impression.
Thank you.
Very good.
I don't know if that was the best
It was good enough.
phraseology, but you know what I'm getting at.
Mance.
Pelicans.
I think this is the end of the hand.
Yeah.
That's the Wizards one.
Well, I thought it was case closed, Vince, but it looks like it's a hung jury.
You really are good at that.
Thank you.
Chicago earlier.
I don't think I have the accent right, but
It's close enough. That always the same level of enthusiasm with Mike also. Terminator one more time. Will he bet one last time to get value? I think he probably should.
Dan could have 2 black cards that are an overpair.
Absolutely he could. He could also have ace 10. I like the Terminator's betting here. I think this is a time to go for value.
425.
Doubt he'll get called, but it's possible. The ace of hearts did miss.
Vince, is the lawyer going to convince the jury, or is he going to be disbarred?
You're really stretching it out.
I know.
And there's the first time card for Dan, and he may use a bunch of them on this one. This is a tough spot.
He's putting Terminator for bluffs on the ace of hearts mostly.
I think so. I'm sure Terminator could have things like Queen Jack with the Queen of Hearts or something also, and feel obligated to bet. He's got the calling chips out.
He's going to feel real poopy about it if he makes this call.
And he does make the call.
Top 2.
He does not like hearing top 2.
Nice set, man.
Terminator got nice value on that. 3 streets worth. It's pretty good. It sucks when you have 8s and you're, they were 3 ways and 2 overcards and 3 to the same suit all come out.
Yep.
I do understand why he decided to call down there, but it sucks.
It's like the lawyer's objection got overruled there, Vince.
Dan, by the way, is Dan actually a lawyer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's good, though.
Does anybody else at the table have like a culturally normative job where we can do Mike Sexton impressions?
I'm sure they do.
But
Let's just give them culturally normative jobs.
all right,
It doesn't
Travis is
matter.
a dentist.
That's an easy one.
Yeah. Batiste is a farmer.
That's better.
Yeah.
Raise 35.
I can do dentist stuff forever. Are you kidding me? He sounds a carpenter.
I see that.
Yeah.
Fold.
It's like a really thorough, good carpenter.
Yeah.
Isan making a very weird loose call here with ace 4
Yeah.
off, by the way. He doesn't typically do stuff like this. He's going to 3-better fold that most of the time. And Luca flops a flush draw, so he's probably just going to get to win the hand on the flop unless Isan gets weird, which Isan does sometimes.
He, once in a while, he generally plays a tight, controlled game and then just, takes his foot off the brake and goes in whatever direction he goes in. And so
30.
it's a little unpredictable, which is good and bad both, I guess. Makes it sometimes a little tougher to play against him. You may have to pay him off a little bit more.
Yeah.
But it means you're also going to pick off some big bluffs you otherwise might not. We saw that with the 9-10 of clubs as an example.
That's true.
Although in the first time he played on Poker Time, which he was the big winner, he just had it.
I thought I heard it, but probably not.
for the move.
Maybe there's like a basketball player in Dan.
Yeah, Isan won what, $3,000 something
At least.
the first time he played.
Yeah. He was up 2K like almost instantly and just slowly built up from there.
Fold. Fold. Fold.
Sit like a human.
Here's Dan with ace queen. He could 3-bet, he could call. Looks like it's a call.
No, he
Oh
does
no,
3-bet.
it's a 3-bet. Okay. I think Batiste's range is kind of always you should probably be 3-betting ace queen.
Yeah. Although there have been sessions where Batiste feels like the table's playing real crazy and he tightens up.
Yeah. That's fair.
Batiste makes a reasonable call here, although it would be nice if his stack was deeper.
Yeah, that's a real problem for him. Now he flops reasonably well,
Yeah, pair and a gut shot. Dan's got the backdoor nut flush draw and a backdoor straight draw.
as well as of course the overs. Dan's going to continue for 125. Batiste never folding. There's really only one move here, I think, for Batiste. And there it is.
A lot of bad cards for Batiste on the turn.
Hell yeah.
That's not one of them. I mean, it
I
doesn't
mean-
look comfortable, but Dan doesn't have too many 10s in his range.
It's like pocket 10s and ace 10 suited.
And maybe not even ace 10 suited.
Yeah, maybe not when Batiste opens under the gun. And with the check back, Batiste thinks he almost always has the best hand.
It's a pretty clean river card. It is a 4 straight, but I think Batiste should be going for value here.
I agree. Try and get value from an overpair. Ace jack, something like that, if there's an ace jack out there. But trying to give Dan a chance to bluff. Dan's hand's a little too good to bluff. He can beat heart draws.
Although he has the
Yeah.
blocker to the most likely of those.
Also, you'd expect the heart draw to bluff on the river almost always.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of your cards if you're the heart draw, right?
Just bet flop check.
I bet flop. Yeah.
Check turn, check turn.
Two guys from Eugene talking it over.
Talking quietly, like they do in Eugene.
Yeah, they're really murmurers in
Yeah.
Eugene. Mumblers.
You should see the court that Dan works in. Everybody has to be so close together because they can't hear each other.
And still, everyone, mics everywhere, you know?
Yeah.
You okay?
Fold.
Thought I'd give you a pass.
Fold.
Has he been coming after you?
Every fucking orbit.
Fold.
Batiste used a bad word.
Whoa.
Are we in trouble?
Can we tell his mom? Are we allowed to do that?
Yes.
Buy back.
I'm going
Give
to.
this one another try here.
Yeah. You put me in my place, I guess.
Well, this is not a super.
A 5 would be a bad card for Batiste.
Yeah, but he probably wouldn't pay that much.
I mean, he's probably going to go
I
call.
really like the deuce 3.
But you're right, it wouldn't cost him that much money. Instead, I think Batiste would probably bet 3 high with a gutter, but nope, he just doesn't care. The pot's too
It's a
small.
$20 pot.
Yeah.
Hey, makes a deuce.
Just in case Travis is ace high and decides to
I
call.
really like the deuce 3.
I'm sorry, viewers. That's a minute of your life you'll never receive
I
back.
waited till the end.
Unless my invention works.
Tell us more about that.
It's really quite under wraps right now. I can't
Yeah.
really. I don't want to put.
I mean, look,
I don't. I think there are some inquiring minds out there
Yeah.
who are pretty good at reverse engineering stuff.
Sure.
And I just don't want to give any clues before I get the patent
I
through.
totally support that. I think that's great. But just tell us what it does.
It makes it so if you ever are bored for 1 minute or less,
Yeah.
you can actually get that time back.
Oh.
So, because I was so tired of people making that joke,
Yeah.
that I decided to create basically a miniature time machine.
And do you like press a button and do you go back in time?
I can't talk about if there's
Are
a
you
button
given a minute?
or a verbal cue or anything.
Is it a multiverse thing? Do you go into a different
I
universe a
can't
minute
talk
back?
about how many universes are involved.
But there's more than one.
More than
at
one.
least acknowledge that.
More than one. Less than 7.
Okay.
That's obvious though, if you know what you're talking about.
Okay, so Mason opened with deuces. He's calling the small blind, and Luca is getting a great price.
End of 3-bet is what he's going
He's
to
got
do.
a blocker with the king in his hand. I would expect this not to get through either player, and it looks like I am wrongo.
Wrongo. Yeah.
I'm surprised Mason just threw that away.
Is that like an animated movie? Is there an animated movie called Wrongo?
Ringo, Rango, Rongo. Batiste, though, out of position.
Would love to be deeper yet again, but he is.
Mason had a little bit less money. Still, I feel like I'm surprised he threw away 2 7s there. Oh, no, he had deuces. I'm sorry. Even so, I'm surprised he threw away deuces as well. And he would have flopped
Oh, Mason.
bottom set, and there'd be at least a little bit of money to be won because I got to believe Luca would fire away at least once.
Meanwhile, I don't think Batiste will be folding to Luca's continuation bet.
No way.
Was that slightly Irish?
Slightly. Only slightly.
Okay.
I feel like Michael Scott doing an Irishman there. It's not good. Yeah, Batiste knows he has to call once. He doesn't love it. That's no limit hold'em though, right? I have to call and I don't love it.
Yeah. There's a lot of that.
I hope they don't bet again. Is another big part of no limit.
That's another great card for Batiste. It
Although
just sucks
Luca-
if he keeps betting though.
Luca does pick up the gutter.
Yes. But Batiste will not feel like Luca moved ahead with that card.
No. But a 3 would be a great card. He probably would get value. But now
Batiste is never folding, I think.
Batiste has got to believe he has the best hand. The question is how to get how to get value. Is it to bet or to check?
I think it's to check most of the
do too.
time. I don't think Luca's going to call with ace king if Batiste bets anyway.
And he's calling with 8s.
Right. Well, I guess Batiste is going to go for it.
He's going to try and rep the heart draw, I guess.
He's trying to get called by ace king, is what he's doing.
Yeah.
I just don't know if that's going to work.
Luca hasn't folded. Is Luca going to make a play? No.
No, he can't really make a play because Batiste has more 10s in his range.
Of course he does. Luca would be repping like pocket 6s that checked back the turn.
Yep.
And that's unlikely.
Just over 14K in the pot. The turn is the 4 of diamonds.
Hey, what is that? Speaking of turn, coming around the mountain? Is
Oh.
that the Nitrogen Sports Poker train?
I think they did buy a train recently.
If you listen, you can hear its very familiar jingle. And choo-choo. Wait, there's the jingle. Nitro, nitro, nitro. Nitro, nitro, nitro.
Wow, that's the weirdest ad ever all of a sudden. Anyway, Nitrogen Sports Poker Room is, they let us do ads like this.
They
perhaps
do.
because they don't listen to them.
Free reign, baby. Nitro, nitro, nitro. Nitro, nitro, nitro.
It's like,
running good,
Especially in that one.
Well, we're on to Travis, apparently. And there's Luca.
there we go.
Eventually, they get it all worked out. The new interns, they do a terrible job.
I've stopped learning their names because we fire them so frequently.
I learned their names, but I intentionally mispronounced
You know what I did the other day? Oh, look at this. Joseph's raising with the ace-8.
Yeah.
Reasonable. The other day I bought 4 shirts.
Yeah.
There's T-shirts that say 1, 2, 3, and 4 on them.
Yeah.
Because we have 4 interns.
Yeah, of course.
That way I don't have to remember names. And when the interns get fired, they give the shirt back. I give it to a new intern, and I can just call them the number.
You could just call them by nicknames, though. That's always good.
Like,
long hair. That's a classic. Calendar Boy. That's a good one, too.
Calendar Boy.
Yeah. I'm trying to come up with names that aren't going to offend anyone. It's hard to think of things off the top of my head here, but Calendar Boy I think is okay. I think I can actually get away with Calendar Boy.
Does that mean he's like a calendar model?
No, I understand why you think that. No, it's the guy who carries around the calendar.
Why would we have?
Why do we? Because we have 4 interns. We need 4 interns. We got to give them a lot of busy work.
It's
the kid who carries around the calendar.
It's actually not a calendar. It's an iPad that has everything deleted on it except for the calendar app.
That to me, that's a calendar.
And we make sure it's the newest iPad.
Well, yeah, of course. Got that Nitrogen Sports money coming in.
Yeah, zippy iPad. Calendar app.
Why don't you just count it down and then
Calendar Boy. When is my dentist appointment? Like that.
Why don't you just ask Travis? Isn't he your dentist?
He's not my dentist. He's just a dentist.
You need everybody or just look out?
But you know what? Maybe he should be my dentist now that you say that.
He's playing too many hands.
All right, we're gonna get to some poker.
Okay.
Here. Dan's under the gun. Ace Jack suited. Nice hand.
Can't wait to see
It's
the
an
hands
open.
division.
Raise 35.
Mason. Here's Terminator
Like the most excitement I
with
have
the
had.
bad hand. He's going to call.
Sometimes he just,
Yep.
terminates.
We know. Luca has a reasonable calling hand on the button.
Barely.
Barely.
Be better if it was Ace 5 suited.
Yep.
But it's fine.
Open. Are you on the list for this? You want my seat?
Knowing that Terminator has King 7 of clubs makes it a little better for Luca. Even though there's less
You'd be
clubs
good for- you'd be good for this
to hit.
Yeah. A little worse for
What?
Joseph, who can't hit a set as
Couldn't hang
easily.
with this shot clock, that's for sure.
Isan feels kind of obligated to call here with the 6-4, which makes sense.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Going to need a lot of 4s or some straights, though. There's a 6.
Nobody has a queen.
Joseph has the best hand right now, and Luca has a 6. Isan has a 6.
And Dan's going to bet into the field. This is ambitious.
Wow.
35.
Is it going to work because there's so many players?
This has to be a multi-street plan. It's not going to get through often enough with this many
Look
players.
how big he bet, too. I mean, 135 is just saying go away. And look,
You were mad.
Might-
it totally works.
It works.
He's using the size of the field against the field. If it's
I mean-
heads up, a lot of those guys are going to call.
Okay, fair, but at the same point,
I
he's
wouldn't have
really
done
not getting it through very often because somebody's gonna have a queen way too often.
that. I think you're right.
Last weekend or the weekend before?
But that was pretty interesting how many people folded a pair there. A
Yeah.
reasonable pair
Some
even,
guy
like
was
sevens.
Red.
Right? Because
You were
I mean,
there.
to be fair, you wouldn't expect Dan to be betting ace high there.
It was a pretty dry board
You
at
were in
least.
the nine.
Yeah,
Like, and as we see, if they don't have a queen, they're out.
or a set.
Yeah, queen plus.
It's okay. It happens, man.
Yeah.
You too? Oh, I was like,
That
you
is
know what?
sick.
Blocks a few queens.
So what's the lawyer thing you could say if you were Mike Sexton about what Dan did
That guy
there?
came out of nowhere.
He went for an appeal, Vince.
Then Travis, he
I don't know. That's not really
I
it.
didn't-
Ace
I didn't
high.
know. Put you on the spot. I'm sorry.
I can do the dentist stuff. That's about it. That's all I got.
That's your area of
That's the easy
expertise.
one. I've thought about that one in the past, so I'm pretty good with
All right. So
dentist
what
stuff.
if Dan was a dentist?
Dan's a lawyer. We'll do it when we get to.
Travis, who is
Yeah, we
not
got
who is
Travis.
not a dentist, to my knowledge. We're just claiming that he is. All right. Look
Here's
at this.
clubs for Isan.
Yeah, and the king, and he's got the hand on lockdown.
He does.
Fun to play.
He's like, see, stare at my wares.
That's what are you talking about? He said he was a carpenter.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You want me to fold it? King high
It's
student.
like bowls and
Bottom of the calling range. For you.
Bowls?
You just lived there, right?
cabinets. Yeah, you have bowls that they're display bowls to show off your cabinets.
Okay.
Obviously.
Called five.
Who says stare at my wares?
As opposed to gaze upon my wares. I mean, what are we talking
I
about
don't
here?
think anybody says anything.
Gaze
like
upon ye mighty works in despair. That's what he says. Here's
pretty-
Terminator.
35.
Sounds pretty serious.
It's from a famous poem that many people know. All right, Luca. His name is Luca.
Everything's about you, Britt.
It's unclear if he lives on the second floor. He will call.
35.
The song that you refer to, nobody
Yeah.
has heard of this.
Everyone's heard of it but you. Also, they have computers and Google. They
You're
can-
just old. That must be what it is.
You're old.
I mean, compared to a tiny baby,
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, the baby has to
Not
be
bad
tiny now,
enough.
not just a regular size
large
baby.
large babies are older.
So, open ender for Luca. All spades, but everyone's got red cards. And Isan with second pair. This is probably a bet for Isan, but he decides to play it safe.
Getting check raised would be poopy.
Yeah.
Now there's a pair for Terminator. And
Everyone's got something.
looks like he might bet it.
Yep. I don't know what Luca's going to do here, actually, with three spades out there. It's not great. You don't really like drawing when a bunch of your outs are... You might be drawing dead and a bunch of your outs are dirty. And he still has Isan behind him, which isn't ideal either. I think this is a very good fold. I think he's supposed to fold it. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he is.
A lot of people are going to not fold, at least on this show. But
Right.
he folded the king-queen. Isan makes a much more reasonable call with no one behind him. And
it's a scary card. It's probably just going to go check,
yeah,
check.
Terminator's got a 6, so he's probably not going to feel obligated to bluff here. And it's going to be over
And
in a
Isan
hurry.
cannot bet for value.
And now Luca's going to be very upset when he gets to see the hands, assuming Isan checks back.
We've seen Isan go for value in weird spots before.
This would be pretty thin value.
He's
he is
doing it.
Wait.
Well, he's like, I can't do it.
Wait. That cabinet is getting built.
You're not nailing it so far.
Oh, nailing it. That's good.
Although you got to do the accent and the whole way he talks. I don't think that was a good idea by Isan. I don't think that there was a ton of
Terminator's checking almost all his spades, right?
Yeah.
So,
Value bluffing yourself?
yeah.
Value owned is what it's called.
You might be able to get king, queen exactly to fold. But
value.
so what?
It's really fun. It's one of my favorite things to do.
What is value on it?
No kidding.
You like value bet your hand.
Fold it, man.
They fold a better one.
That
No, they call.
two pairs.
They raise you and then you have to call.
Here's Travis. He's going to see if he can fill up his chip stack a little bit.
You got to do the accent. If
Oh,
you-
yeah.
If you're going to do a Vince. And,
Oh,
and,
boy. Boy, Vince, but he's got the queens over here, the lovely ladies. That is not a good accent.
Isn't this supposed to be referring to Travis being a dentist in some way?
I know, but the action was when he said queen, so I was going with it. Oh, Travis limped the fives.
Yeah.
Well, it makes it easy to call and see a flop, but I don't know if that's a profitable play long term. Well, that's a good flop.
We're going to get some action here.
Travis probably just going to check call a lot here, assuming Batista even bets. Sometimes Batiste will check these boards. Even with overpairs. And there you go. Does have the backdoor diamonds. And there is a diamond for Batiste. He's got to love his spot. Both players probably think they have the best hand here.
Yep.
Batiste is like, okay. I can't wait any longer. This is a pretty straightforward call, I think, for Travis.
He hasn't decided yet.
I'll tell you what, Vance, if he hits a deuce on the river, he's going to have to extract some chips from Batiste.
It's not even, I mean, like, I know you use the word extract. It's okay.
Check, and we know what's going to happen. Again, both players probably think they have the best hand. I guess Travis doesn't know that.
Yeah.
But he's going to have a jack. The deuce of diamonds would have been a little bit of a slinky card.
Slinky?
Yeah.
Sure.
People say that.
It's right under 2.
Here's how you do it.
Yeah.
Well, Vince, it looks like the dentist gave himself a shot of the Novocaine that time.
What does that mean?
He's numb inside now. He's sad.
He didn't do anything. He just check called twice.
Yeah, that wasn't as good as I thought
See?
it was.
Yeah. But I like that you're using the Novocaine. That part's good. Gonna have to
1920.
gonna floss this guy.
If something really bad happens, we have to use root canal in some
Yeah, there
capacity.
you go. That's more like it.
Although I heard they aren't as bad as they used to be.
I wouldn't know.
I've never had one, but I used to hear about how they're horrible, and these days I hear they're a lot better.
I floss every day. Root canals are not part of my.
Wow, somebody's
my
high and mighty
existence.
over here. Oh yeah, Mr. Floss every day.
I'm nuts about dental hygiene, buddy.
That's a pretty funny sentence.
Thank you. That's actually a reference, but
What's it?
it's a West Wing.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Rob
looks like
Lowe's character.
Mason is trying to stick it to his friend here.
It's about time the Eugene boys started fist fighting.
Yeah,
And-
it's wild country out there.
Dan decides to call out a position with 4 high. They are deep.
4-3 suited flops pretty well.
Not that well.
Really?
I like how you said that as if that board meant
I was
something.
gonna do it either way.
Check.
You should have said it just as it came out before you could see all the cards.
There's a deuce.
Mason really obligated to continue here.
140.
That's 140.
Mason's going to put one over on the lawyer.
Put one. How does that relate to law? He always relates it to the profession.
Dan's going to wish there was some tort reform on this one, Vince.
Tort reform. I don't think that has to do with like lawyering in general.
I mean, just you think, what is his name? Mike Sexton knows a lot about law.
I think
He
it's
might say tort reform. This is not the episode that's going to get us the Aussie Millions commentary job, I'll tell you what.
Well, it should though.
Hey, look at that. Here's the VPIP. That's voluntary put in play in terms of chips. No surprise, Terminator at the very top. Isan, not shocking, I guess, that he's only at 18%, although he does lose his mind once in a blue moon.
Yep.
It's like having a gut shot. It's like they fucking us.
You did try to make that weird value bet.
Yeah.
Cool trend. This is good. I like it.
Just going for super thin value against the Terminator.
It's kind of like one of the cool things to do these days, right?
Yeah.
Go for super thin value.
There are some players you really can make that bet and get paid when they have a worse 2 pair and stuff.
Backdoor 2-pair drop.
I get it.
But mostly.
Fold.
Luca raises Batiste big blind again.
Batiste,
Angry. Angry beanie.
lucky to be in a flip.
Check.
This is probably going to go check, but Luca could bet.
Probably is just going to bet and protect his equity, right? Yeah. Makes sense to me.
35-ish fold.
Luca has all the big hands, and he has almost none of them on that board. He's got some scraggly aces, and that's about it.
I mean, he's got like ace jack, ace queen.
Okay.
Should have used all of them.
But Luca's got ace, ace,
Still
ace,
bad.
king,
Still
ace,
bad.
queen,
Just
ace,
bad.
jack,
I think
ace,
Batiste
10.
has all those hands.
Ace, king?
Yeah, I think he has that.
He's going to 3-bet ace, king sometimes, don't you think?
I think he's mostly calling out of the big blind when our gun opens.
I don't know.
Blitz game sometime.
I don't know, man.
15 seconds, no time extensions.
That shirt looks good every time I see it on Isan.
Yeah, click that link, buy some stuff.
Who doesn't want a poker guy shirt?
You don't have to get a shirt. You can get a sweatshirt. You can get a hat.
A hoodie.
Fold.
All right, we'll stop shilling. Close now. But,
You should buy it.
but it is pretty sweet looking. And Terminator calls with the 10-9. It worked so well last time.
He's had this hand at least 3 times so far in the second half of the session. He's played it every time.
He won a really big pot against Dan's 8.
Mason
Whoa,
is in trouble here.
Luca really outflops him in a bad way.
Pretty open and then check the flop.
This is very unfortunate for Mason. You would
Did
think,
Mason just check as well?
Yeah, looks like he
wow.
did. Is Terminator going to bet with the 10-9? Oh, no.
Oh, wait,
there's-
no. It looks like Mason bet.
Mason
Okay, that
did
makes
bet,
so
okay.
much more sense.
All right, Luca.
Luca can raise right now, or he could call. He obviously did not fold. He's going to just call.
Heads up.
All right, he's going to slow play it a little bit.
Probably fold the turn.
And that's a third club. This is one of the problems with slow playing. It's getting harder to put in any big action now.
And Mason's probably going to check back.
Yep, I would think he would. Also, now you know you got to dodge, what, a 3 and a 4? And there's a 4, and now Mason.
No.
Oh, no, actually, Luca still has the best hand. My bad. Luca really should be betting this now when it goes check on the turn.
He's losing now to overpairs, but not to ace queen, of course.
Yep.
35.
Spending it around. An overpair is going to have to call, but so will any queen.
Yeah, Mason is obligated to call here. Is he considering raising, trying to get value from a worse queen? That would be kind of cool. Looks like he's doing it.
He is.
I understand this play.
Wow.
Luca is heavily weighted towards worse queens than ace queen. I think it's a pretty good play.
Is Luca calling when he gets raised with
Yeah,
those worst queens?
I think sometimes he is.
I don't know if
this
he
time
is.
it didn't work out very well.
I don't know. I don't like that play. I don't think you're getting called by enough worst queens to make that play.
Well, I don't think you have enough ambition.
I think you're getting called by all the hands that are beating you. I think Luca does have trip 4s in there because he's got some straight draws. He's got some straights. He's got clubs. He's got lots of things that beat you that are all calling right away, as we saw. Queen 6 called right away, and Queen Jack is folding a lot, I think, when it gets raised.
I guess that's the question, is if hands like Queen Jack are folding.
Yeah, if Queen Jack is calling pretty quickly, then I guess it's an okay raise. But otherwise, I don't like it. And I don't know that Queen Jack is calling quickly. Mostly people.
I know everything, and he's going to call.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Isan with a very pretty ace-4 suited.
He's under the gun, though. He could fold.
Yeah, but I like the open.
Dan making an ambitious call
Yeah,
here.
King 10 off. I'm surprised. Dan's played relatively straightforward in terms of ranges, pre-flop.
And
but
Travis folds the ace 10 off. That's not in character based on what we've seen
this
so
whole
far.
this whole hand is freaking me out already. Luca with the Jack 9 makes sense. Joseph's probably going to call the 7-4 here as well. Isan can't love it when you've got ace 4 and there's 3 players in the hand besides you, right?
At least
Like,
it's suited, so there's some fun flops.
that's true. You hit an ace, I guess you bet once sometimes and hope everyone folds. It's a weird spot when you actually have top
Yeah.
pair.
And
Oh,
there
look,
it
he hit
is.
an ace, but Dan's got trip kings. But Luca should, I'm sorry, Isan shouldn't lose too much money in this hand, right?
I mean, he probably should be checking here.
Yeah, I like this check.
And
I think Dan should bet right away.
Dan should absolutely bet, yeah.
Because Isan can have ace queen, ace jack, lots of aces. Other players can have aces. Other players can have worse kings, specifically Joseph. Isan really has a pretty straightforward call here, although it's not great with the 4 kicker, even now.
Right, because what Dan's betting, I guess you could be betting Queen Jack.
Yeah,
but,
Jack 10, that's about it.
But he's not usually going to have those hands. And Isan just has an extra full house draw. It doesn't really change his hand much.
Right, I guess a 4 could come on the river, and then he could be beating some aces.
Yeah.
Isan checks again.
Not at 100.
Dan's got to decide if he can get 3 streets of value from an ace. Looks like he's going to try. It makes sense to me.
That's 140.
Was it 140?
It is.
Into 290, just under half the pot, making it really easy for an ace to call
I think Isan can fold this hand right now.
because his kicker's so bad, right? Like
Yeah.
if he has ace jack, he has to call.
I don't think Dan's actually betting an ace a second time that often.
I think you're probably right, but especially even if he is though, Isan is at best chopping now with that ace anyway, right?
And
he can never beat it.
Usually losing.
Yep.
Vast majority of the time he's losing. I don't think you can beat enough here to call, especially considering that he opened under the gun. Dan was +1
That's
and
right.
called.
And there are 4 ways. Like
Dan
they
has
didn't
a
have to
lot
bet
of
this.
a lot of king queen, a lot of king jack and king 10 suited. You would expect suited, but apparently he has offsuit as well for those hands.
Isan also hasn't seen Dan get out of line in any obvious ways, right? Like we haven't really seen Dan get out of line.
No.
Even. It'd be weird to think. But I could see Isan could at least consider calling because it's cheap. But I think you're right. I think a fold is the right play. It looks like
That looks more like a lot more than a call.
That's a raise. Isan raises here. I think he's trying to get a better ace to fold. like ace 10. Maybe because the sizing was so small, the 140.
I mean, like I'm saying, I think Dan has a lot more kings than he has aces as played, and it's tough to get trips to fold. Now, Isan is repping something better than king 10.
Well, now that Dan just called, Isan's got to know that quickly, it's really unlikely Dan has an ace. So I think it's time to put this guy in the refrigerator. Although Dan does sort of have the worst possible king he can have here, as it turns out.
He does, and Isan is repping like aces full or ace king.
Ace king and aces full is really the whole thing.
That's all he's repping.
Yep.
He's not repping king queen. I don't think he would play king queen this way.
He could though, because at worst he's chopping against Dan with king queen.
Not at worst. Sometimes Dan's going to have ace king here.
Almost never. Almost never.
Almost never, but it's possible. So maybe he can play king queen.
I think he can play king queen like this.
So this is going to be a sticky spot for Dan when he's on bets again.
Whoa, and he is going big, as he should, if he's going to bet, which I don't think he should be doing at all. I think he should be giving up here, since it really looks like...
It's interesting to turn this hand into a bluff, but
It is.
it makes more sense than using it as a hero call hand, because he was never going to be winning that way. He's giving himself a chance to win, but it's pretty high variance.
I'll say this, if he could see Dan's hand, he'd probably assume he was going to be able to win this pot right now with this bet.
Dan gives the time card well before his time goes all the way down, knowing he's going to take some time.
It's a very interesting play by Isan.
An ace high flop when 3 people call.
Pat getting that TV time. Can't wait to play a better lineup.
Probably don't want to show me one card.
And this is the worst king Dan can really have here.
Yep.
It's a reason to fold.
The question really is, does he believe Isan's line? Would Isan actually take a line like he took with a super strong hand like aces full? I don't know if he would.
4 ways. I don't know if he would either. He might just bet and hope someone had a king. It's reaching.
Isan hates that so much, but when he goes behind the cards, it feels so good.
Yep. And he uses that last one. That's his last time card. He's got 30 seconds.
Yep. This is it.
His hand will be dead if he does not act within his time.
Isan not giving anything away there. Man, it sucks to be Isan in this spot.
10 seconds hand's dead.
Run out of time. It's a
Makes
call.
the call.
It's a call. Wow.
And you see Isan's face there. He's not happy.
I was thinking pocket aces against ace king. Wow, that is a tough
Trying to
call.
figure out which king is to fold, which king.
That was a huge pot.
You're lucky you don't play with that guy every day.
Kind of agree with Batiste there. The only thing you're beating is Isan losing his mind.
Well, we've been talking about how Isan loses his mind sometimes.
Once in a while, but not that often.
He gave himself what he probably felt was maximum fold equity against pretty strong hands, and he almost got it through. It's just
You almost folded.
the story is a little bit suspect.
It is.
To just check call the flop and then check raise the turn. A little bit suspect.
Folding to maybe calling.
Fuck it.
To fuck
Yeah,
it.
right. Because 4 seconds, the hand is dead. You know what I mean?
Gotta do something.
Joseph will send you, sell you some time
Raise
banks.
40.
You think the time actually made it so Dan turned what was possible fold into a call because he was running out of time
It
anyway?
might have.
That may have really hurt Isan. I like how Isan sized the river.
I wasn't sure.
After you show the king.
We knew he.
No,
Everyone
I
here
know
knew he
he
had a
has a
king.
I'm trying to
raise.
get the king to fold.
And call.
Good targeting. That exact king.
Not a huge fan of targeting a king there, I gotta say.
Well, Isan gets a little fancy sometimes.
Yeah.
And, you know, it could have worked. It really could have.
Another man.
Who? George?
Yeah.
Joseph's got the best hand here with a 5. There is another 5 for Travis.
Cool. Make the lineup even better. Of course.
Portland, George?
85.
Terminator's just going to bet with completely nothing here.
Friend of mine.
Call.
Guess he has a backdoor straight draw.
Travis with middle pair, no kicker. Travis must hate when he gets called by Joseph as well. I'm praying Joseph just has a draw, I guess.
Really have vested interest in trying to bet him out of pot.
Joseph does have the best hand right now. Not anymore. Travis.
It is a spade, which might slow down the action.
Yeah, it's probably going to check through, but wait.
Is Terminator really going to go for it?
Oh,
No.
it looked like it.
I thought he was. Would have been interesting to see.
George Wolf? Yeah.
How'd you know?
Vince, it looks like the dentist is going to try and extract some value here with 2 pair.
You got to expand your dentist repertoire.
I did the filling thing.
Yeah. You said you had all these dentist things planned.
I had
You
extracted
mostly
filling.
Okay.
Travis is
And,
going to take it down.
Yeah.
There's probably some other stuff. He's going to put them in the waiting room with all the magazines. Vince.
That's good. I don't know how it relates at all to what happened.
Yeah.
Everybody's plays like such a knit. Everybody's too tight.
Ask him about his last big session here.
There you go.
You know, when Dan was in the tank there,
Yeah.
and Isan was, trying to remain the same. What is your philosophy about chip shuffling during hands? Because Isan was shuffling chips.
Yeah.
I used to do that, and I've completely stopped because I don't know if I've ever given anything away by the speed or skill of my chip shuffling, but I just don't want to.
I think that's smart. I mean, I think I try not to, but sometimes I notice in those spots that I am shuffling chips, and so then I just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Mostly I'm doing it sort of without thinking about it, so it's just going at whatever speed it's going at. But I don't want to stop in the middle,
Right.
But I try not to be doing anything either. I agree with you. It seems mostly better.
Heads up.
Top pair for Dan. Nothing for Luca. But this is the kind of board he's generally going to bet on.
Yep, this is going to go well for Dan.
It's 35 and a call.
Unless Luca decides. I guess Luca could hit some straight draws on the turn and decide to continue.
Yeah, I mean, if we get in a spot.
That's a straight draw.
That is a straight draw. Let's see if Luca decides to bet again. He could move like 4s and 7s, and even not really a 5, I guess. And that now he's obviously never going to get anyone to fold. And this hand's going to be over in a second.
Yep. I don't
Dan
imagine-
doesn't fold trip kings, so I wouldn't try and raise here.
I mean, I'm sure he is capable of folding trip kings from time to time, but he didn't do it that time.
I don't think he would have folded there, probably.
No, there probably not.
He would have hated it and called, right?
Yeah.
And like, I called.
That's why you made the comment. Yeah. I was like, are you not? Yeah.
This session just turned into a real nice session for Dan with one hand.
Yeah, that was a really big hand. I mean, $1,300 went in on the turn and river
Yeah.
when it didn't have to at all. You were saying you thought Isan should fold.
Right.
I agreed with you. But Isan went for a very high-end bluff and almost got it through.
Yep.
Pretty exciting poker, I must say. That was fun.
Hold. Hold.
Joseph now is folded. Gave him credit for the fold too early. Number 3, you're done.
I thought you were going to give him nicknames.
Yeah. Number 3's nickname is Number 3.
Oh, okay.
Calendar boy, long hair, Number 3, and that one.
That one?
He knows who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
450 he check raise turn 450, right? So that's 900 and then about.
Well, Terminator, by the way, has opened 8 deuce under the gun. Kind of just let that gloss over because
He's got 2 back
stuff
doors.
like that
Come on.
happens, and he's going to win.
Yep.
I mean, he plays like he got ace king or aces.
Yeah, but Terminator is a bit off the rails here.
Yes, he is.
Range-wise.
Yeah. This is like the Terminator Salvation, which is not the one you want to be.
Even
That's
though
a pretty
Christian
brutal
Bale
one.
is a great actor, though.
He may be great. First of all, he wasn't great in this, and that movie was dumb. I'm sorry.
I believe you. I didn't see it.
I wanted to like that movie. It's the future. We finally get to see the robots have already taken over. That's what we want.
The robots.
The robots have taken over, man.
I mean, we'll stop talking about it if you don't want to.
But no, it was just dumb and bad.
I just like the turn check raise is a little weird.
Helena Bonham Carter, man.
I never liked her.
It's a great
That's
hand
crazy.
to analyze.
You're crazy.
The best
She's in all those Tim Burton movies.
She's married to
Went
Tim
to
Burton.
Showdown.
Yeah,
Almost.
and that's a good thing.
She's the good thing about the Tim Burton movies.
Half a Showdown.
Oh, yeah, you love that
know
one
what he's
about
using?
the barber or whatever.
The barber? Do you mean Johnny Scissorhands?
No,
Is that his
Johnny
name?
Scissorhands.
What was it?
Edward Scissorhands. There was the other one. There was like a musical. It doesn't matter.
That wasn't a Tim Burton movie.
It wasn't.
No.
Just read like one.
You got an ace?
It read like one. That's an interesting
In
thing
the
to say.
previews, I didn't
Oh.
see it. All right, Dan is a king again.
Something like
Hearts for nobody
I believe
because there's only one heart on the turn.
Nice save.
Oh, for sure it's rolling over ace.
And that's the end of that. Joseph folds the bottom end of the gut shot,
You're on 2 hands.
and we move on.
Hearts for nobody. It's like the name of a really bad romantic
It's hard for me
novel.
to give you the king because I was pretty sure he had.
John Cusack, Kate Beckinsale.
Well, they'll
Hearts
play,
for
they'll play
nobody.
the movie eventually, and then when you buy it at Barnes & Noble, they'll be on the cover,
Yeah.
even though they weren't on the original cover.
Exactly. Now a major motion picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been sick.
He would have called quicker than
Well, yeah.
Where were you buying that books, by the way? Where
Barnes
did
&
you-
Noble. of
Barnes
course.
and Noble. Does that still
Can't
exist?
be.
I don't know.
I don't know if it
I
does.
know I have the ace.
Is Borders or one of those two went out of business? I think maybe it was Borders that went out
You
of
would know
business.
that, but we would.
Yeah.
Anyway, Batiste,
35.
you're going to open the ace-3 suited under the gun.
Fold.
I endorse this play.
Fold.
You like the ace-wheel suited under
Yeah, I
the gun.
do.
What if it was ace-6 suited?
Hate it. Got to get rid of that.
Okay.
You can't have too many.
Yeah.
No
Computer
customers.
hand, man. I can't play.
I almost called my suited queen.
Queen 7.
King 7.
What suit? 7.
So if Dan's calling with the king 10 there,
You have hearts?
You're
I
talking
guess
about the Isan hand.
yeah. So in that case, then I guess Isan would have successfully bluffed out Dan on the turn. I assume a better ace would have folded the turn, right? If he had bet the turn, but I guess he can't bluff him out on the river, because if he's calling with king 10, he's calling with all his kings, and only kings are making it to the river,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, seems that way. Hey, look at this. Luca's doing exactly what you love the most.
I approve of this.
Ooh, Isan getting a
announcement.
little loose with this call here.
Yep, and it could go real bad for him if spades come. There's the 3-bet from Terminator.
Looks like a really small one again.
It is not.
Oh, it's-
real small. It's too small.
It's a little small with the bet and a call.
Yep.
City money.
It's definitely too small. But
Joseph is praying or sleeping. I don't know if you guys
maybe he's
noticed that.
doing both at the same time.
Maybe.
Luca's trying to decide. He's going to be out of position. Ace deuce is dominated most of the time. You rarely flop well enough to be able to continue here. This is probably supposed to be a fold, Luca. But
He
Luca
has decided
says,
not to do
"Nah,
that."
And now Isan's going to throw potentially good money after bad here.
Yeah, I
could
think
still
he
win the
probably
hand,
has
of
to
course.
call once
I
Luca
know,
calls.
I know. I think he does too, but it's not a good spot. Top 2 for the Terminator. Only one spade out there. No one's going to lose any more money most of the time.
Yeah, but Terminator gets to win a lot more than he would have had he not 3-bet.
It's 285.
You can't hear any of what we're saying.
What do you
over
mean?
their speech
He's probably going to win either way, right? He's got top 2.
I'm saying he's going to win more money.
Oh. I thought you meant more of the time, not
No.
more money. Okay.
You
Yes,
don't
I
care
agree.
about that, obviously. We know
What
that
is-
you only care about how many pots you win.
I think there's this really disturbing trend in the poker community now,
We've
which
done
is
this
big
before.
focus on profit.
Yeah, yeah.
And like amount won.
Right. Yeah.
That's like
it's big profit.
That's sort of like saying like, oh, I chewed some gum and this is how many bubbles I blew. It doesn't matter how many bubbles you blew. It matters that you chewed the gum. Did you chew the gum? Yes. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Did you win pots? Yes.
It's that
You've done it. You've succeeded as a
it's
poker
that
player.
the lobbying of big profit. You know, they're
Well, I think it's like, and I don't want to call out any publications, but Card Player Magazine is a big problem in this. They really focus on how your win rate is, and and I think that's just a huge mistake. Someone's going to take me seriously.
People believe you.
I know. I sound a little too convincing, don't I?
You don't sound that convincing to me, but I'm here
can see my
watching your
face.
facial expressions.
Luca could 3-bet this. He could call this. They're both reasonable.
Heads up.
Is Travis going to have a good thing happen?
It's possible.
Hey, that's a pretty good thing for
He
Travis.
should be able to get, if the board runs out clean, 2 streets of value is not crazy.
I could see this going. I like the check back actually.
Well, now 2
That's
streets of
not
value
a,
is
not a very
incredibly
clean,
hard.
Not very clean.
And
there's
it's also
a lot
now
of chops.
it is a chop now, in fact.
There's ways to not chop, but there's lots of
Not
chops.
very many ways.
5.
There's 3 outs for each player to not chop.
I think I should have folded the turn with the 9 of clubs. I think you're right.
I'm not sure I understand
it's
why
always over
Travis has 4% more equity than Luca.
And I can't call that. So
Somebody folded a 3 maybe.
Yeah, it's probably that.
Again, there's a lot of player-specific stuff that you guys don't know. Kind of a disadvantage in those hands. Advantage for you, disadvantage for you.
Well, that was not as exciting as I was expecting it to be.
Yeah, so then you
Just between us.
hope for a
Like
check
Terminator
back and
Salvation.
dump it if you get-
Yeah. There's a part in Terminator Salvation where the Terminator grabs John Connor, and the Terminator's really strong and is trying to kill him, and it has the ability to rip him in half and end him right there, like pull his head off, and instead he throws him into like cardboard boxes across the room because they can't actually have John Connor die. Why would you let the Terminator grab him then? That's my question. Filmmakers, you guys suck.
Wow, you got him. You got him.
Mick G is the guy who directed that.
Straight flush.
You know too much about movies.
He directed Charlie's Angels, which actually was pretty darn good.
As I was saying, you know too much about
Did you
movies.
not ever see Charlie's Angels with Drew Barrymore, Lucy Liu?
Maybe when it came
Cameron
out.
D?
Pretty stoked.
That would be like 2 7s, no club.
Yeah.
Just some
Great.
rant.
That's pretty good, man.
Okay. And Terminator's going to make it 25.
After the call by Isan, what are you doing, Terminator?
Terminator just does stuff, you know? Just does it.
Batiste now is like, well, I guess I have to call 5-3 suited on the button. And that's
even,
not crazy.
Could even 3-bet.
Oh, wait, is it Travis who called? Yeah, it's Travis who called.
Yeah, but Batiste has 5-3.
Yeah, but he hasn't called yet. I was giving credit for the call already.
It's kind of a good spot to 3-bet. We've seen historically Terminator on the show. When he starts making races like this, he's
Yeah.
doing it with weak hands.
Yeah. Batiste just feels, oh, here we go. Here comes the real 3-bet.
Yep.
I expect a bomb to come out of this.
Like 175. It's like a less than that, but not a lot less.
Was it
155.
155.
Yeah.
6Xing. Actually, I would have thought it would be even a little more, yeah. But this is probably enough. There's no way Isan's calling. Terminator's not calling. No one's calling. Batiste, I guess, could talk himself into it if he's really feeling loose right now. But
Travis can't call.
nope.
Fold.
This is the card funeral, right? Before Batiste actually fold. Wait.
Nope. Looks like
He is going to call. If he knew what Lucas Holding was, he would be able to call.
Yeah.
And comfortably.
look at
but
this. He's got 43% equity.
It's pretty good. And the button. He's going to get to win a little more than his equity would state. And he flops open-ended. An ace would be devastating.
Batiste is now a massive favorite to win this hand.
Yes.
Just through play.
Well, because, yeah, Luca's not going to want to put a lot of chips in here. He's probably going to take at least one shot. And Batiste is not folding anytime soon. And could raise whenever he feels like it if he wanted to. I don't expect him to. But you can't see the board, but trust us. There's what, a 4 and a deuce on there.
And a 10.
Yep. 2 red cards. 3 red cards. 2 of the same suit. Batiste checks it back.
That is a weird
I don't know
check back.
why. Well,
He gets there.
it's easier now. The only way Batiste loses this now is if somehow Luca doesn't fold the turn and a heart comes on the river and Luca decides to bluff. That is asking a lot. But okay, they're just putting
It's
up
just
the turn
catching
now.
up with
Number
the board.
4.
I thought number 3 was the only one with the nickname that was the
Yeah.
number.
I was just looking at his T-shirt. So Travis probably has to just give up now, right?
Yeah, there's not much you can do. And that's Travis is not in the hand, but you know that's Luca.
I was talking about Travis just in terms of his math test.
Oh,
He should
is
just
that
give
what
up
he's
on
doing
it.
on his phone?
Yeah, he's doing like a little app, and he should just give up. This is a Luca. Wow, Luca calls.
He thinks Batiste has too many bluffs here because there's 2 flush draws.
I guess Luca did check both flop and turn. He's very aware that a lot of the time Batiste is going to
Well, Batiste no
have some
longer
bluffs.
has the nuts, but he feels
This is a
very,
bet.
very confident that he has the best hand.
I mean, you gotta bet this one. You have to. Okay, fine. 8-9 is beating you. Fine. 5-8 is beating you. Who cares?
Luca very rarely has those hands.
Yes. He would have bet those hands,
Probably
or
not
not
3-bet
check
them.
called them, and not 3-bet them
yeah.
very often. Yeah, this is a very easy bet for Batiste. But there's no way Luca's going to call. Well, I guess the flush draws missed.
He's
Right,
trying
hearts
to-
missed on the turn.
Trying to figure out sizing. I think he's going to use a time card. Thinking about sizing here.
Yep. There's 900 in there. You did get called, so it looks like maybe you're up against 2 9s a lot, stuff like that. There's a 10 high board, and he checked twice, and then called.
800. He goes big here.
He's trying to get heroed by a weaker 1-pair hand. I mean, ace, king, and 9s play pretty much the same.
Yeah, it's just distribution.
And Luca's like, all right. Luca got to be regretting that call on the turn, especially when he sees this drawing dead.
Yep.
You would have got set over set.
Yeah, I was thinking he's probably going to set.
Batiste had a nice turn card there.
Yep.
I just hate pocket.
Got some value, too.
Sneaky, but so many times someone's going to be upset.
Still surprised Batiste checked that flop when Luca checked to him.
I just want to use the time bank.
Did you hear that? Batiste said he just wanted to use a time bank.
Save them for next week.
It's like fuck and a
You
half
can put them
four.
all out there at the same time and you get 127.
Am I the only one
Go
with
take
one
a
left?
piss and come back.
Yeah, the time bank hasn't come up that much. The Dan hand against Isan was the one real dramatic moment we had with the time card so far.
Get that one?
Terminator's definitely opening this.
40.
Raise
I was
40.
laughing about that one.
I was hoping.
Travis in the tank a little bit. He's got very pretty, meaty, bloody fish hooks.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know. I didn't really mean to sound the way it did. Oh, Luke with ace king again.
Pretty meaty, bloody fish hooks. That is weird.
Yep, that's really weird, and I regret saying the words. Terminator, I assume, is going to call this with 7-6 closing the action.
Yep.
3 ways. Even though it doesn't really play well out of position against 2 players. When you have 7 high and you're mostly going to flop draws when you flop, you're rarely going to flop good enough that you
I think he's got a
are
call
doing
though.
well.
At that point.
Well, he does flop a gutter, and that's it.
Yep.
Travis got to like this flop a lot. He's almost always ahead here. Luke and Terminator can have sets. Luca can have queens, I guess. But mostly Travis just has the best hand.
165.
I don't know how Luca can call with Terminator behind him on that board.
I don't think he should be.
Fold.
Terminator could check raise here. He's not repping a ton though. He's just repping sets if he does that.
Yep. Dropping like pocket eights. I'm just gonna get out of town. That's reasonable. Travis has not been 3-betting much at all. At all.
Travis finally gets a reasonable pot.
Yeah.
About 20 minutes left in the session. Travis is going to try to win some pots. Terminator's going to play every pot.
Travis, well, Vance, Travis putting some nice tooth polish on his chips there, shining them up.
Tooth polish?
That's what old people say is tooth polish until it's Mike Sexton who's old. That's
I've
the whole
never
thing.
heard anybody say tooth polish.
Yeah, tooth polish. That's what they said before toothpaste.
How
35.
I saw it on Family Guy once.
how old of people are we talking about?
Mike Sexton, maybe. Another big hand here. This time Travis has queens.
Back to back. All right.
It's
And
pretty sweet.
like I said, Terminator's going to play every hand. Look at this. He's got 6-3 off and he's calling.
Another 3-bet incoming.
We raise 150. Fold, fold. Fold, fold.
Joseph has to fold a somewhat nice hand with the ace
It's one
jack
of the
there.
values of 3-betting. Knock out that equity.
This should just end things this time.
Yep, and it does. 2 for 2 for Travis. These last 2 hands anyway.
Yeah.
Pretty good. He had the best hand both times by a lot, but he hit both free throws. It's always nice. You drain them both. Well, Vince, the dentist is on the free throw line and hits them both. 2 for 2.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's definitely dentist related. You think Terminator and Batista are texting each other?
Like this Travis guy, he's just played the last 2 hands. Can you believe it? I can't believe it.
I'm upset about it. Let's see if the theory holds true and Terminator plays this hand.
Nope.
All right, I was wrong.
See if Travis goes for 3 in a row. 3
Well.
good hands in a row. 3 big pairs in a row for Travis.
Raise 40.
It's getting harder to believe if you're the rest of the table, but Batista only calls with the ace queen. It's
Yeah.
a very 3-bettable type hand there.
Sure, but it's also fine to call.
It is.
Call. Fold.
This is going to be a tougher one to win. He's got a lot of cards to dodge here compared to his last few hands. And there's a full house for Joseph. This is
Wow.
a bad flop. Also, Dan flops a flush draw. Wow.
Yeah, this is an action flop.
Oh, Travis. All that money you just won is probably going to go away.
At least some of it.
That's 85.
Batista's going to have to fold now.
Yes. Lucky for him. He's drawing almost dead. Joseph, will he call? I think he's just going to call here.
I think so. He is the board so crushed, although he could be repping a flush draw.
He
if
could.
He raised.
There's the actual flush draw, drawing almost completely dead as well.
Runner, straight flush is the only way. Or I guess 9-9,
9-9,
9-9, 7-7, 3-3.
Hey, that is not a good card for Travis.
No, it really isn't. Travis feels pretty comfortable with that card. Doesn't expect his opponents to have too many 3s in their range.
He might check back. Although these guys, specifically the cutoff and the small blind, rarely have 3s like you're saying. He really could have bet that. He's lucky he didn't.
Joseph really doesn't want to see another 3 on the board.
Yeah.
That would be a disaster.
Dan has to fold now. Dan thinks he got really unlucky with this card, but he got lucky. Bails him out.
Hopefully Travis doesn't check raise or anything like that.
I'd be surprised if he did.
All right.
But Travis has got to be in pretty much full-on check call mode on safe rivers.
It's a club, which
But-
doesn't matter.
Right, and the jack shouldn't be a big part of Joseph's range. I think he's check calling here, hoping Joseph made a flush and going for value, or Joseph just maybe bluffing with 4-5 or something.
I mean, you can't beat much.
Pocket nines?
It's possible.
Pocket nines might bet for value if they bet really small. There's not a lot.
It's not a great spot with tens, but you got to call with something.
Yeah, I think tens are a pretty straightforward call here when you check the turn. You check to him to give him a lot of opportunity.
Joseph goes for about 2/3 pot here.
I mean, I think you just have to call as Travis and lose. This would be a great fold, even though it's hard to come up with anything we can beat. I
Yep.
still think, like you said, you have to call with something. Tens are a little too good to just throw away.
And it's rare for Joseph to have quads here.
Joseph really might think nines are the best hand to be betting.
Yeah.
So at least we can beat a little bit of value, maybe.
Sixes full is the value that makes the most sense for Joseph. It's just the hand that he happens to have. And there's only 3 combos with that.
He also can have like 4-3 suited, 5-3 suited.
Yeah,
a
that's
little bit.
possible.
Travis does not call right away. He's thinking about it. Good for him.
It's a tough spot.
Boy, if he makes this call, Vince,
He did.
Joseph used the gas that time. You know, like laughing gas for dentists. Is that a thing?
I was like, oh shit.
Joseph used the gas?
Yeah, use the gas on the dentist. This time the dentist got the gas given to him. Vince.
Yeah.
Are we offending
maybe he has
dentists
the gas.
or people with
Second tier.
Mike Sexton level accents?
No, I'm on Seinfeld's side on dentists. We can offend him all we want.
Okay.
You have jacks there,
Because why?
You can have jacks
I don't know.
there.
Okay.
No reason.
No, I know that, but it's like
Yeah,
all
ace
these
jack?
jacks. I'm not worried about it. Pocket.
I don't think they're a protected group.
Fair enough. All right, well, we are coming to the last 15 minutes, so we'll see how players adjust. Sometimes people play a lot more hands. Sometimes people play a lot less hands. People who are down sometimes try and get it all back with one swing of the bat. That's a baseball metaphor.
Thank you for that.
Sure. Just keeping you, in the loop.
Fold.
Terminator, reasonable call here with the
Yep.
King 4 suited. Doesn't play super well, but plays well enough.
Gut shot for Luca, nothing for Terminator.
Terminator doesn't want to hit that King now, though, huh?
Oh wow, you really are funny.
Luca never has to bet. He just starts to put the chips in and guys fold.
He has much power.
Do you think he could move things with his mind?
Yes.
We all can.
What?
Well, almost all of us.
Is that what this video's really about?
I can move my toes with my mind, bro.
That's a good point.
I know.
You can move what you perceive to be your toes. with your
Oh,
mind.
I perceive that I'm moving my toes.
Yeah.
In fact.
The perceived
This
toes.
could be a whole source code situation.
I perceive that I'm moving my perceived toes.
Yeah.
Philosophy 101, welcome.
You just might be in the Matrix. Isan. This is, I think, we're in the last 15 minutes syndrome right here
Yeah.
with the King 8 off and the hijack. Terminator calls. Travis is going to call as well. An ace would not be good for Travis most of the time. There's only 2 of them left, though.
Good math.
Thanks.
There it
Ace.
is, though.
Bad for Travis once again. Probably going to... Well, I don't know. Isan's probably going to bet this, right?
Yeah, I think Isan is supposed to bet this.
Yep. He's going to bet. Probably get called in 2 spots, though. Travis capped his cards before Terminator even did anything.
I think Terminator noticed it. I saw him
Yeah.
catch it out of the corner of his eye.
Probably Terminator's going to be able to get one more street of value out of Travis unless certain cards come. Well, that may slow these guys down
It's
a
a
little
spade
bit.
for Isan. Isan has the king of spades. Travis
Isan-
has 9 of spades.
That might embolden Isan to take another shot. These guys absolutely have queens in their range here.
He got called in both spots, though, and they could have flushes.
They could. It's another 6. That's going to be a chop for the aces.
Yep.
And Isan with a whole lot of nothing.
Check. Check.
Will Isan take a shot now when they check again to him? Probably not, but it's not absolutely insane. Try and move him off a queen here at this point. Figure someone with an ace might have bet. Also, Terminator's not going to be an easy spot. He probably is with his hand, but not going to be an easy spot with Travis behind him if Isan bets. So if Travis is a little bit weaker, he maybe can get it through. He's going to take a shot. I don't think it's going to work.
110.
He's repping ace king or ace queen here, which he would probably play exactly like this.
Yep.
Not going to work on
Even
Terminator.
even queen might play it like
Travis
this.
might end up with the worst situation here where
Yep.
he gets bet off the chop and Terminator gets to win an extra 110, and that is exactly what happens. What a joy for Terminator.
I mean, I think Travis is supposed to fold. He's calling really praying he
down
chops.
there, Isan, today.
I 100% agree. It just is such a it's such a crappy thing that just happened to
Choo-choo
Travis.
hat.
Yep, really unlucky.
It's the choo-choo hat.
Choo-choo.
Not that they haven't been.
On the bluff train.
Things have not gone super well for Travis.
Nope.
He had those jacks that one time.
That was fun.
Everybody
The
all
meaty,
aboard.
bloody hooks.
pretty meaty, bloody hooks.
Yeah.
Fish hooks.
Did you hear that?
That is.
Like, whoa.
It makes sense if you really think about it.
No, it makes good sense.
I feel like people aren't thinking about it enough. That's the problem.
If they're blackjacks, are they like oily hooks instead of bloody hooks?
That's a great question.
go,
Hey,
Adam.
Joseph has
It's up to
aces,
you,
though.
man.
Let's think about that
Oh, he
instead.
let yours go this time.
American
Don't let
Airlines,
200,
the
Jeff.
weapons of mass destruction.
Are you doing Vince
Yeah,
now?
yeah.
35.
Looks like he's not gonna trap. He's not gonna
Put the
dig
twigs
the
and
hole.
berries.
Put the twigs and berries over the top.
Whatever you want.
Fold.
Since that would be a funny thing to say.
Fold.
No, you don't make it 200.
Things have gotten a little meta. We're doing poker commentary and we're doing a parody of other poker commentary. Wow.
It's fun though.
It is. I don't know if it's fun for our listeners, but I'm enjoying it.
I don't care.
I know. We aren't going to keep doing this forever, guys. We promise.
3 players.
This is maybe the end. All right. So Joseph in pretty good shape here. Although Isan
Isan
flops huge.
Very good flop for Isan.
Isan should be betting this and maybe triple barreling this given the opportunity, assuming Joseph checks. I don't know if he's
looks
going
like he
to.
did.
Yeah.
I understand Joseph checking. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
It's hard to get action from a ton of worse hands. You can get action, but it's really scary.
Kings are going to call. Some jacks are going to call. Often they're going to have pretty good equity against you. Often they're going to have a spade at least. This is a super easy call for Joseph, though, when he checks.
Yep.
By controlling the pot here, it makes it a little easier. I think Isan should be betting all turns.
Yep. And Joseph should be calling on most of them.
I guess an ace turn. If the case ace comes, Isan could decide to check it back. That may be the
yeah,
only card.
Maybe a 10.
I think I'd probably bet it. Well, you could decide to check a 10. I'd probably bet a 10. I think you really have to bet this 5 of hearts, though, as Isan. The way he shuffles his chips, sometimes it looks like he's checking. I think a solid like $170 bet here. It's not going to work against Joseph's hand, I don't think, but it will work against a lot of other things.
150, it looks like.
All right.
You don't think it's friendly?
Joseph's talking.
Not tonight. Can't do that.
Where are these guys from? Eugene? They're mumbling.
Joseph is calling, though, and
His hand's too good to fold.
of course it is. I think Isan should be barreling most rivers. I don't know if he will. I would be barreling this. Let's tell the story. We got the nut blocker.
Check.
You only have ace high. You know you're losing.
But Isan has been caught in 2 bluffs recently.
That
and
is
that's
true.
probably weighing heavily on him.
Only one, right?
No,
Just-
2. There's the Dan one and then the last hand with the King 8.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I mean, Joseph is obviously not folding unless Isan sizes some crazy amount.
I mean, Isan is repping hands that are better than aces here.
225.
But he does have the ace of spades in his range.
That's an incredibly callable
Yep.
amount for...
Of course. Wow. Is it flush? No, yeah, they're kind of close.
I like how Isan turned it over, just in case Joseph was going to misread it.
Yeah, I think Isan even said flush.
Oh, I don't like when people do that.
Yeah.
Is that you misread it? That sucks.
No.
Isan's like, no. Yeah, this isn't a hit on Isan. I don't like when people miscall their hands as a joke in a no-limit game.
I was
can
never-
just check
I
behind.
wasn't
I
know,
trying
but
to have
I've
a
seen it
fold. I wasn't
happen.
going to do the Hollywood thing 'cause I'm always
I
calling.
like it. People can take you seriously and muck their hand.
Yeah.
Good at taking the
Like, I would believe Isan if he said that, because I wouldn't think he was joking, and I would probably wait to see it, but
74.
anyway, I don't think he's angling. Don't get me wrong. I think he's just kidding around.
One spade, too.
7-8 of spade, you know what I mean?
But I see some people do it, and I do think they're angling. Also,
Yeah, some
I
people
saw a guy
do.
do it last weekend in a big tournament I was playing. Actually,
Cool.
not cool at all.
That bluff train is
It didn't work, but then he can just say he's joking, and he gets a free roll that moment. It's not cool.
Hat trick.
Fold.
Yeah.
My hand distribution in the blinds matter.
That's Michael. He's bluffing everybody else and he's going to have it
Deuce
against me.
3 times, 10 deuce twice. Like, stuff you can't even peel. I just peeled it 7-4 off because
Every time I had a good hand to bluff it.
should have just stuck with it.
I didn't. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, just float that flop.
Huge blockers every
With the
time.
4 of spades, 7 of clubs.
You run, runner.
Yeah, runner. Woo, you wouldn't have liked that one.
Getting down to it here.
Yep. Last few hands. We're probably going to stick with this 90-minute format for a while, but let us know what you think of it.
7-4.
Fold.
Oh, 7-4. Straight.
Straight.
Raise.
Every time from the cutoff, this guy.
Fold.
Probably shouldn't say that.
Nope. That's not cool either.
But I guess there's
Can't
only
play my big blind,
5
can't
or
play
6
my
minutes
button.
left in the session.
Yeah, but it could affect this hand
It could.
specifically.
Good. If Luca 3-bets, it looks a
And
little...
look, Luca.
Just
Oh, he
calls.
just called.
You're just a maker.
I know. I'm just joking.
I think these guys are probably. I don't think it affected anything, but yeah, it's another thing. Probably just shouldn't say that.
3 players.
Again, I think there was no malicious intent.
No. Luca flops an open-ender here. Nobody else has much.
Joseph has a pair.
A deuce. Doesn't love it, obviously.
Let's see if Travis takes a shot, or if he just checks it back.
Not this game, no.
3 ways. You could definitely check this. It's not the end of the world to bet it either, but you could definitely check it.
Who's down to play at least?
Well, now Luca and Joseph can really rep queens.
Lucas should be betting right now.
Yep.
And Joseph is like, oh, you're betting? I was going to bet. Now I can't really call with bottom pair, can I?
Maybe.
I mean, Luca can have open-enders. He can have flush draws. But Joseph isn't doing well against any of those hands. Well enough against any of those hands when Luca has plenty of queens and 9s in his range as well.
Also, he still has Travis behind him, and Travis can have like 2 jacks and stuff
Yep.
pretty easily.
Travis probably is just going to let this go, I imagine.
I mean, ace-3. Whoa, he sees the 2 flush draws, and he is not folding.
Wow, he's
He
making a play at it.
raises.
So
This is
he's-
going to work.
He's repping 9s full here.
I think so.
Everyone over there has seen you guys
Maybe
play.
Maybe
queen 9.
deuce.
I mean,
But full houses.
You would expect,
Definitely full
you expect
houses.
him to bet those hands in the flop a lot. There's
Yep.
2 hearts, there's an open-ender.
It is not a great story, but I don't know if it's going to matter what the hand that Luca has based on the fact that there are 2 flush draws.
Yeah,
And his
it ends up working.
jack high and a paired board. Like, he really can't call.
That's the thing that happens in poker sometimes that you can just kind of justify. Like, yeah, the story isn't great, but it's going to work enough that it doesn't matter if the
Yeah.
story's not great.
Well, Travis made that one work.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. Now, if he just bets the flop and bets the turn, it probably also works, but I don't know if he's going to do that.
Yeah. It's tough to bet the turn when you get called in the flop.
Yep, and the queen pairs. It's tough.
You used one?
Yeah.
You have all 4, huh?
I don't need these for.
We're gonna get. Looks like the lawyer's done with this one. I wonder if we'll get any more lawyering.
Really tank.
Nice.
Thanks.
Here's Mason with jacks.
Losing my mind over here. He's got the oily fish hooks. Pretty oily fish hooks.
Pretty meaty, oily fish hooks. If Batiste plays this, we'll know we're nearing the end of the night syndrome. And
He's got the itis.
we are indeed nearing the end of the night. I do not believe he would have called with this hand in the first hour.
Probably not.
Joseph has a very straightforward call. Isan's going to call a lot here with, oh, this is an easy call with Jack 10, of course. All sorts of stuff everywhere. Travis basically, though, is up against, he's got to dodge a deuce and he's got to dodge aces and kings. That's about it. Not too bad.
Do you mean Mason?
Of course, that's what I mean.
You call everybody Travis.
I don't know why. I used to call Travis Patrick, actually. So, I made a shift, and
Yeah, it's
here we
good.
are.
Nobody.
Mason checks, I guess 5 ways. That's very reasonable.
Nobody's
There's a lot of bad
hit
cards on the
anything
turn.
the flop.
And that does not improve anyone. I guess Batiste now has a gutter
Yep.
and overs. I got to believe Mason's going to bet now. Right? We just have to. By the way, Isan's got overs and a gutter also.
I think Joseph was. Oh, he checked. It looked like he was counting on a bet.
75.
Relatively small bet.
Fold.
It's not really bitter at all.
Batiste throws it away. Isan's our last hope for this hand to continue.
Well, it says that Mason's not in there, but we know he is.
Isan
And
is going to
Isan's
call.
gonna call. All right.
He's got the overs. Now the overs are no good. He just has a 9 to win. That is not going to do it. This might go check.
He already checked, so I think. Yeah, I don't think Mason's really gonna bet.
Mason could try and get value from ace high or an 8. Like
Yeah.
the nut flush draw or an 8. That's about it. Isan did check. Now, Mason knows Isan's capable of doing weird check raises, though, and he doesn't want to get blown off the hand, I think. I like this check back. They were 5 ways. Isan absolutely can have a 5 there.
Yeah.
Like 5, 6. Really, any 5.
Yeah, that was a disappointing haul for Mason with the jacks on that board, but sometimes you have to play it that way.
Yeah. I don't even know if Isan's calling with an 8, by the way. Like, why would Mason... What's Mason betting?
Yeah.
Like, I guess, like, Queen Jack or something? Like, can't
Right.
beat ace high?
That's a
about
great point, Jonathan.
Thanks.
Just wanted to get a compliment in before our last hand of the session, which I imagine this is going to be.
It's likely. Mason with the cool fold.
That was pretty sweet, I gotta say.
Hey, Brian.
Travis not going to chase the losses.
Smart. Batiste. Thinking about chasing. I don't know if they're losses or not, but thinking about chasing something.
Yep, chasing the dragon.
Chasing the denim.
35.
I'm gonna get something wrong for you, Mason. Don't worry.
Like Luca's got something to play with. Indeed, he does.
Jack 10 of diamonds.
It is pretty.
Is it anything?
And Isan's got a real hand. Unfortunately for him, he's not going to be able to get all his money back in this hand. And if he 3-bets,
You never know.
he could get called by Luca.
Yeah, Luca's in position. Closing the action. He could have, depending on how Isan sizes
I just don't
this.
think Isan has enough money in front of him to actually get all his money back. Maybe if there were
I don't
3
know.
ways.
I don't know how much he's down, but he could definitely. Well, it looks like he's going big with the sizing.
Yes.
I'm surprised you made
Is
it.
that 185?
Yes, it is.
That's
This
really
is just
big.
going to end things.
Yeah. Luca's like, all right, whatever.
All right, well, that'll do it for this session. It's been fun, but we'll see you back next week for the
Yeah.
first half of a new session.
Indeed.
And it's going to be wonderful.
You got a bluff?
Always.
Now?